welcome to another Mr. Betabyte video, and this one's a little bit different insofar as we're having a quick look at what's on eBay at the moment. We're currently, 13th of October 2022, and coming up for the UK ebay.co.uk version of eBay. Not a huge amount, to be honest, and it's sort of interesting to look at prices. So I've got this new listing up here. It's a pretty good price, to be fair, and fully reconditioned new belts. Let's have a quick look at that, actually. Yeah, so this seller does seem to sell quite a lot of Betamax machines on eBay. It looks pretty good, to be fair. Quite tidy. Refurbished, does he say what's been done? All functional has been serviced, a new belt and idler tyre fitted. Okay. Upgrade to real motor circuit resistor. Okay. Full tracking range, alignment spot on, tape path cleaned. Some new capacitors. So yeah, it also does VHS. Yeah, I mean 100% positive feedback. That's okay, I think. You'd probably be all right with that. Yeah, so let's crack on then. I got diverted by that. I was quite interested by it. Okay, so the next one, UK seller, we've got SL 2400, which is a US model. Also believe it's there's a Japanese variant. I'm sure there will be. Looks quite nice. No hours. Judging by the brightness of the clock, I mean, I suppose it could have been taken apart and cleaned, but I get the feeling this is fairly genuine, to be fair. I mean, look at that. That's pretty amazing to have all of that. Is it worth 795 quid? Nah, no, it's not. It's a basic machine. It's really a bargain basement NTSC machine. It's just really gosh, the box is very tatty as well. I think too much emphasis is put on stuff in original box. It's nice to have it. It's definitely nice to have it, especially if it has the polystyrene inserts, because that just makes transportation so much easier. Yeah, it's nice, but it doesn't add that much value really at the end of the day. But that does look like it. Yeah, it's got the original carton as well. So for the collector, it's got the wrist strap as well for the remotes. For a serious collector, maybe that is worth it, but yeah, I mean, for collections, no. Sony's premium basic Betamax. I like that. Yeah, so it is a very basic machine, and yeah, it's nice it has a sticker on. So yes, anyway, let's move on to Sony SLHF 400. Now, there are quite a few sellers in North America that are selling refurbished machines. But I would very humbly suggest that this seller is right up there. I am slightly biased because he is a friend of the channel, but he is great. He is absolutely, he knows so much. and having seen his work, I can't rate him high enough. So yeah, it's truly, you are buying a fantastic machine if you're buying this machine, and that is not a bad price either. You can see how weak the pound is now. It's just crazy, isn't it? I mean, obviously, if you're buying that, importing that to the UK, it would cost a lot. Yeah, so you're talking about another sort of 300-ish pounds on top of that. But for our US friends, you can't really go wrong. I mean, the clock is a little bit dull, although to give credit, that is a very bright environment that's been taken in. It's a whiteout, so you know that is pretty good. And yeah, I mean, what a machine. So I would, without, if I was after a Betamax for archiving or just a good Betamax machine, NTSC, I would not hesitate in buying that machine. So yes, not sponsored, not affiliated or anything, but yeah, honestly, you wouldn't go far wrong. So next we have an SL700ME, and I have two of these, not featured on the channel yet. I've actually got, I think it's the 15-year anniversary model version of this with the box, original remote, all good, and the machine is actually perfect, except it's all serviced, gone through, done everything, but the capstan motor is faulty. And I potentially might have a fix for that now. So yes, I will be doing a video shortly on one of these, and I will thank the person who pointed me in the right direction. It might not work, the fix he sent me. It's worth a try though, because I would love to get it going. And it's a quirky bit of history almost. There's the 15th year anniversary version. This one looks rather nice. It has the original remote, which is a fairly unique style of remotes for Sony betas. This is sort of Diddy IMT167. It has a few marks on it, a few hairs. 750 quid plus postage and packing. ME machines seem to be going for, or seem to be selling for a lot of money. Whether they actually go for that, I don't know. We'll see how long we go for. I might just do a quick check to see what's actually sold, completed listings. But that's a lot of money, isn't it? You know, it's... I mean, this goes back to having the original box. If it's got the original box, it stands much more chance of making it in one piece. But yeah, well, yeah, it is what it is. Comment, let me know. Is that a huge amount of money for a working machine, fully working with remote control? I mean, there's not much info there. But yeah, let me know in the comments. So next we have this hard to use, fully working remote. So hardly used. So this is another seller that sells a lot of machines on eBay, and has mixed results, I think. But you know, people seem to be generally happy, which is cool. Yeah, so you can see the upper drum there's got a fair amount of wear, and needs to resurface as well because that's slappy, and it's certainly not cleaned. Look at that. That is not a clean machine. So yeah, we'll read the description in a minute. I mean, most of the it's been taken out. It looks fairly, well, to be honest, it looks fairly genuine. Insofar as it's got loads of dust in the power supply. It's not been cleaned really. And well, you know me, I tend to be a bit OCD in getting the dust out. I mean, I don't get every speck of dust out. It's pointless doing it. It'd cause more damage than it's worth. But I do like the power supply to be clean because it helps with cooling to an extent. I mean, that's, yeah. But the thing about it is that they will smell. You will get the smell of the previous owner's house, potentially, if you don't clean the power supply, especially the hot components like the rectifier there, which gets hot, for example, and then you've got the SDK chip right at the bottom there. So, yeah, 245 quid. Yeah. Underneath it looks quite good. Packing, of course, is really important for F30s. This base here has a plastic peg, which sort of, let's just go for that. A plastic peg on the PCB around about here. And because it's so slim as well, there's not much clearance, and the slightest bump in postage to this metal cover will shatter that board. And I've done quite a lot of repairs on those now, and with mixed results. It's never pretty. Remote looks okay, worn but not cleaned. So let's just read what he's done. Replacement of cassette loading gear. Okay, that's quite common. The end tooth breaks off. Mechanism cleaned and lubricated. I do actually have one of those from Gabriel, which I bought from him and ended up not using for whatever reason. I think the machine was too far gone in the end. Mechanism cleaned and lubricated. Tape path head drum cleaned. Pinch roller rejuvenated to prevent tape creasing. I wonder how that's been done. Head azimuth adjusted for crisp and clear output. Fully working. Tested constantly first few days. Yeah. No problems or snags. Well, it will soon get them because that upper drum is pretty shiny. Comes with phono RCA lead, so it can be connected to modern equipment. Well, it won't be that modern. I don't bother with that anymore. Not that I've been selling stuff for a long time now. I tend to throw in a phono to BNC adapter, but that's it. Because I don't know what the buyer has, and I can advise them accordingly. So yes, anyway, enough of that. This is great. If I could get this, I would. It's 1501, so it's a black version. The original version's silver. This bit here is silver, and it's wood effect cabinets and silver top. This is black, really cool. What I love about these is that I always call this a cooker clock. It's just like a clock in an old style cooker. But I had one of these machines for many, many years, and I sold it probably about 15 years ago. And I actually got quite a bit for it, I think. I think it was about £150 I got for it, which I was quite surprised at. I sold it as an auction. It did work. It worked really well. But yeah, it was really quite an amazing machine. And I just love them. They're just so like Meccano inside. I do actually have 1500 N1500 couple of videos, probably 3 or 4 actually, to come in the future. I've got 2 machines, which I worked on several years ago, upgrading one and trying to make one out of 2, basically. And I've now come to the conclusion that I can probably make 2 out of 2, possibly with the help of my friend Tim. Tim, if you're watching this, I haven't forgotten you. I know I'm really terrible. I will come and see you. I promise. I do still have your Toshiba to come up to you. So, yeah. So that's that. And talking of Toshiba, look at this. This beast. I know some of you are going, oh no, not Toshiba Betamax. These machines are, I love them. As a kid, this was my dream machine. And I remember as a kid getting really excited by the rewind, fast forward, because it sounded like it's taking off. They wind and rewind so fast. Debatable how good that is for the drum and the heads and everything else, especially as this is a 4-head machine, and the drum is exactly the same as the V3133, V9600. Yeah, you know, they wear like crazy, but all the same, I love them. And we will be having some more fun with one of these. Actually, I've got one pretty much in this sort of condition, with an infrared remote control add-on. So that'll be really cool to get that up and running. And that machine will be a keeper for me, because it's just has memories. It's not the greatest machine. Toshiba, when this came out, they defined it as the 2nd generation Betamax, and the only basis they gave for calling it that was the 4 heads. The stills are really good, super stills, but you know, it's a little bit of a big claim to make, really. So yeah, but really cool. What do they say? Top of the razor. Owners from new, and it was hardly ever used. Never heavily used. Yeah, so it's really cool. If you're after one of these machines, I would definitely be very interested in, I'd give it a punt, to be honest. Expect to service it. It will definitely need a service. Shame there's no pictures of the tape transport. Are there? Oh, there is. Oh, yes. No, I was going to say, shame there's no pictures of the actual drum, the upper drum, which I think you can just about take a picture of with the door open. But you can see it's browned, so the rubbers are going to be pretty poor, so it will need a full service. I don't know whether you can now get anything for these. Until recently you could. It's got the wired remotes there, but yeah, so keep an eye out. If you like these machines, keep an eye out, because I have got a video coming up soon, and I do have the remote control as well, the infrared one. So a few people have commented on how people sell things on eBay. And one thing that really gets me is antique. Antique. It's an antique. It's not 100 years old plus. It's not an antique. Retro, yeah, happy with that. So this actually doesn't look too bad. With the box, plays, which is nice to see. It is not serviced. So it's £200. It's not been used in years, but surprisingly works straight away. Good picture, rewind, fast forward. It'll be double box, which is great. Always double box stuff when it comes to the original box. £200. that's pretty much. If I was selling a C20, fully serviced, it would be 225 on eBay, because obviously got the fees and all the rest of it. And funnily enough, I would throw in the P&P for that, and it would be next day DPD, just because they're reliable and things don't get broken. I've been, touch wood, I've never had a problem with DPD, and that's both ways. I do collections for repairs and send back via DPD. Always been good. So yeah, 220 quid for a machine that works, which is great, but you're relying on the fact that it's probably not been used that much. But it is old, and it will need the caps and the power supply done. It will need a service. Probably the Hall effect device will be dodgy on the heads, maybe. But overall, if you could get this price down a bit, you'd probably get a really good machine. It's a good serviceable machine as well. And even if it broke and you don't know what you're doing, you'd probably get 100 quid for it back, maybe. It is a basic Sony, but yeah, who knows with the current economic climate what you get for it. You might get 50p. So here's another great one. I love these. I prefer the 366, which is the 4-head version. This is really tatty, which is a real shame. Possibly might have been tempted by that. It's one of the few machines left on my list of VHSs that I would like to get hold of. It's not to say that I won't get hold of more, because I'm always finding out new stuff and finding new stuff, and it's the pleasure of it, isn't it, really, that I have the opportunity to do all this now and choose what I want to work on, that I can get funky stuff that I never would have seen in the day, and all the beaters. But 25 quid, 8 quid P&P, fair enough. It does work. It will need a service. I do actually have service kits for them. I came across some idlers and whatever else. Domberg was selling them, and at the time they were really cheap. Now they're really expensive, I think, if they've even got any left. But yeah, if that was tidy, I might have been tempted. But yeah, if you want something to play with, great machine. So yeah. And we have another antique retro, Sony SLF30, and UK Caravan Breakers 1976 seems to be doing an awful lot with machines. I don't know where they're getting them from, but they're getting them. As for parts not working, basically it's cutting out. Takes time to start, and then will only play rewind, fast forward for a couple of seconds, and then stops. So, time to put your bets in. I've bought this. I was thinking the other day, I haven't worked on an F30, and I'm sort of missing working on them. And but I wasn't going to buy one because they always get damaged in transit. But this is boxed, and I'm hoping there's a polystyrene in there. I haven't asked, but I bought it. It looks fairly tidy through the window as well. I'm hoping it's low hours. But what do you think is wrong with it, given that description? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Personally, I have a really good idea probably what it is, but I'm not going to share it. I'll put it in the comments, and I'll say what I think once you've put it in the comments. So yeah, yeah. So then we go on to Philips VR 6520. So in good condition, was working when last used before putting in a cupboard for the last 10 years. Nah. Okay. So I do like these. This is a Panasonic NV370, which has been rehoused. The major difference is the OTR lights. LEDs are actually in a different sort of format, different layouts. But I really like these as basic machines. I did actually sell a lot of these as reconditioned back in the day. Always very reliable, great decks. K-deck, I always get this wrong. Somebody's going to correct me in the comments, I know. I always get this wrong, though. It's a good old-fashioned aluminium chassis deck with minimal plastic parts to break, but usually high excessive back tension, and also the back tension felt always falls off. They always fall off. The glue just perishes and the felt drops off. Glue them back on, but yeah. So yeah, there we have it. Shall we just have a look at Sony Betamax SL700 ME, and let's go completed items. See how much they've actually sold for. So T7 ME, 50 quid, 62. Can we sort? C7. Gosh, 10th of October 2022. So an SL500 ME Mark II. I wonder if it's a 500 I have, actually. Oh, it is. Sorry, I said it was a 700. It's a 500. It's got the gold bits there. And I've got the 15th anniversary one. 750 quid. Maybe I ought to get mine going and sell it. And it would really help the channel, to be fair. I need the space. I do actually need the space. I need to sell stuff. I've also got one of these. Boxed, which is doing crazy things. So that'll be in a future video. Absolutely, it's immaculate. It's hardly been used. I think it actually failed in the day and was just stored. So yeah, 420. What else? Parts only. 950, won't power up. So this is sort of what stuff's going for. Sony 345 for C9. 225 parts only. Oh, that just ended. No bids. So 51 quid. Gosh, that was a bargain. 50 quid for a red C20. Although I seem to remember this one was, yeah, it's quite shabby. I've never seen this and think, oh, I do love the red ones, but it's actually quite shabby. The red paint on these machines, on all of these Sony machines, is really thin, and it marks so easily, chips. It's not a great paint job on them. So unless they're perfect, somebody sprayed the plug red. Love it. It's really, that's been in the damp as well. Gosh, look at that. Out. So that's, yeah. So that's had rain down the although it's on the out, it looks like it's had rainwater coming down the aerial lead. It's rotted it out. But yes, anyway, enough of this. I hope you enjoyed this one. Up to half an hour as well, so sorry about that, but I hope you enjoyed this. I always find these quite fun. I was going to say about when people say it's working, and I can't remember which machine it was, but people say it's working, but they haven't actually tried a tape. So that's something Gabriel was mentioning in comments, actually, and it was something I was going to mention and then haven't done, because I always forget, because I get carried away. But yeah, just watch out for that. It's working. I'm trying to tape, but they never put I haven't tried to tape. So yeah, anyway, I hope you really enjoyed this one. Lots more to come, and obviously giving you a bit of an insight. We've got that F30. That'll be great. So see you in another video. Bye for now.